Welcome, everybody, and thanks for attending. My name is Jim Hoko. I am the Executive Director for the Behavior Analyst Leadership Council. If you are not familiar with our organization, we are a behavior analysis trade organization. We were founded in 2015. We have multiple conferences in the past in the Northeast, and our last one was scheduled for Boston, but that, of course, didn't happen because of the pandemic. We are sincerely hoping for Miami in 22, and we're going to be working hard to make that happen. We are an organization that's committed to supporting behavior analysts serving as leaders, managers, and business owners. We emphasize a triad of excellence, and the first leg of that triad is effective leadership. Then we have clinical acumen and operational expertise. Our events and other information can be found at balcllc.org/events if you would like to look for more things. Today, I am very happy to introduce to you Adrienne Bradley, who is the president of Black Applied Behavior Analysts Incorporated. She is the co-host of Shades of ABA podcast and the adjunct professor to Wayne State University. She's a clinical director of Behavior Frontiers, and I hear an avid travel junkie. Hi, Adrienne, how are you?
Hi, nice to be here.
That's great. So we're really happy that you are here today to talk to us a little bit on this Leaders Spotlight. So can you tell us a bit about yourself and how you're doing during these crazy pandemic times?
Yeah, thanks for the introduction. I don't have too much to say after that, but yes, Adrienne Bradley and the president of Black Applied Behavior Analysts, BABA for short, because we love acronyms in ABA.
We do love those acronyms.
We do love our acronyms. I am the co-host of Shades of ABA, the podcast where we talk about being diversity, equity, and inclusion within the applied behavior analysis field. And anyone can find us on any platform, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, all the above. In my clinical work, I am the clinical director for Behavior Frontiers in our Detroit, Michigan location. And I have been in Michigan my whole life. Pretty much I need to move here really soon, but definitely been in Michigan my whole life. As far as how I've been doing during this pandemic times, I am happy to be fully vaccinated and to getting back to some type of normalcy a little bit.
Hey, you know what? I'm fully vaccinated too, and today something important happened. Do you know what that is?
I think didn't the CDC come out with something today?
They did. The CDC just came out with new guidelines, and you and I can interact without a problem without a mask. So if we were in the same place, we could do that. So I'm just curious.
Hopefully soon.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but where are you talking to us from?
Michigan. So we still have our mask mandate and things like that. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks, anything within the next 30 days, as far as restrictions being lifted for myself, I will be very happy, and my partner as well. He gets his second vaccine tonight. So. All
right, well, we're going to move off this vaccine bit in a minute, but I'm coming to you from the farmlands of Pennsylvania, a town called East Berlin, where I'm visiting my mother, who was fortunate enough to have recovered from COVID about a month ago, along with a few other family members. So, everybody's just yearning for this to be over. But at least, everybody got through it, and I'm vaccinated, so it's time to move on. But let's talk about behavior analysis. So tell me your personal story with the science of applied behavior analysis. How did you come to want a career in this rather different field? And was there anyone particularly influential in your decision to become a behavior analyst?
Yeah. So when I graduated college, when I went to college, I thought I wanted to be an orthopedic physician's assistant. Fun fact about me is I've had 5 knee surgeries so far. I played five all on my right knee. I played soccer since I was in elementary school all the way through high school. So did a number on my knees.
Yes, sir.
So I thought I wanted to be an orthopedic physician's assistant. I also then realized I don't really like like biology and chemistry science like that. And so I switched gears and I wanted to do OT. And I graduated thinking that I wanted to do OT and that I wanted to work in a special education department within the schools and things like that. So I got a job straight out of college as a parapro for one of the local school districts. And I worked in their ASD self-contained classroom. And I also worked in their post-secondary program. And so it was really in both of those jobs that I saw really what autism was and what the spectrum of autism was. And I thought to myself, there's got to be something better than just speech and OT, because some of the things that these children were engaging in, they needed a better quality of life. They needed foundational skills. And on top of that, the teachers didn't really have the education or the knowledge on autism to properly get them what they needed. Of course, there was an ASD consultant that would come in and say, if a kid is spitting, give him a cup. That'll reduce their spitting on other people because he can spit out a cup. But they were doing it for attention. So I give them the cup. That doesn't reduce the problem. And I kept hearing teachers saying, it's just a Band-Aid. It doesn't fix the root of the problem, or no one's really telling me what to specifically do. So I was at lunch one day talking to one of the older parapros, and this was the person that got me into ABA, and I have all the thanks for. She was an older parapro, had been working in the school district for like 20 years and was like, I'm going to retire here, but you should look into applied behavior analysis and to becoming a BCBA. And she would come to me at lunch and she would say, there's this program and this is what they do, and you would be great at it. You're young, da 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 da. And so I looked into it. I saw that Wayne State, the university that I now teach for, had a program. It was right in downtown Detroit. I had just moved to downtown Detroit. So I applied. They didn't need a GRE. So that was great. That was a thumbs up.
Now wait, does this hero have a name? This person?
Yeah, her name is Phyllis Lanston. Phyllis.
Thank you, Phyllis. Good job, Phyllis.
Thank you, Phyllis. Phyllis Lanston, she works for Southfield Public Schools here in Michigan, still to this day. And
all right, so go ahead with your story.
No,
I was about to say Adrienne Bradley, president of this organization. How did that come about? Tell us a bit about BABA. How did it get started? Why? What's the mission? The whole bit.
Yeah. So going more into my personal story is how BABA kind of got involved into my career path. I was working in downtown Detroit as a behavioral consultant for a local ABA company. Downtown Detroit in itself is 87% Black or African American. And I was the only Black BCBA in the entire company.
How many BCBAs are we talking about?
We had 3 different locations. So out of the 3 different locations, I was one of 10.
Okay.
One of 10. And so the only Black one, working in the middle of Detroit, my supervisor was not Black. The technicians were Black. And so a lot of the technicians would come to me to solve problems or to get advice. And I was also going through, microaggressions, prejudice, racism, all of that. And so I was like, there's got to be something out there. And so BABA actually started off as a Facebook page. It was founded by Kat Jackson. She's a BCBA now in Hawaii. She founded this Facebook page years ago. And then I had just messaged the admin saying that I wanted to get more involved. I wanted to get involved in kind of creating this into a nonprofit, and if they had, any room for me. And at the time, Davina was actually the president at the time. And throughout that journey, I did not run for presidency. It was just something that Davina was stepping down, and she thought that I would be a good fit in that role. And so that's how that came about back in, I think that was August of 2019, I believe. So in August, it'll be about 2 years of me being involved with BABA.
This is a national organization.
International,
correct?
yeah.
International organization. So when you became president and now, what's the membership look like?
Well, we're now an international organization. When I became president, we had not really had that many members. And now we have about close to 400 official members within our organization. And we're only on year 2. We are an international organization. We do so much for our community and looking to do so much more for our community, while also still educating those about anything and everything applied behavior analysis within the Black community, even outside of our practitioner base and things like that.
Noticed in the description, I believe, of your mission, it said promote, empower, educate, disseminate, if I got that correct.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Does that pretty much sum up the mission?
Yeah, that's our mission, and that's what we lead with when we're doing anything. Are we disseminating? Are we educating? How are we empowering our practitioners to fill in some of those gaps that we see out in the field? And we do that in a variety of different ways.
So, we're on the screen. You and I look a little different. Can I be a member of BABA?
Yeah, you can. We actually have an advocate membership. If you go on our website and click membership, you'll see the different membership tiers. And to become a member, if you don't identify as Black or African American, it's only $60 for the year. And you.
Ooh, okay.
$60 for the year. So one of the things that we really wanted to do was we wanted to reduce any and all barriers for people joining professional development organizations. And one of those biggest barriers that we found, especially for the Black and African American community, was finances. We want to, support professional development organizations. We want to get involved. We want to have those benefits, but we can't afford a $500 a year membership. And it's been a pandemic, and we all know what happened this year. So the most expensive membership tier we have is $175 for the year.
So let's talk leadership a bit, because BALC is about leadership. We exist to fill a niche to sort of help people who are in new leadership roles, to help new business owners, things like that. But thinking about leadership, historically, the leadership in our field, and sad to say, I've been around for a big part of that history of our field, I'm in my 4th decade right now. But our field has been primarily, it started out Caucasian men in terms of leadership, and then it was Caucasian men and women. And while this is certainly changing, there would be disagreement as to whether the change is happening as quickly as it should. What do you think should happen to make the face of our field better reflect the face of America? Yeah. Big question, but.
Yeah, we first need to equip our people of color, our BIPOC individuals, with the education that they need for these positions. And that's what we do at BABA. We see a gap in leadership, but we also see a gap in that sponsorship and that mentorship to creating leaders, right? And making sure that people know that these leadership roles are for them. So what we do at BABA is we have like mini cohorts, and they're cohorts on different training, so you will. So we have a business development cohort. We have a OBM cohort. We're having a cohort coming out on ethics and the new ethics code and being able to disseminate that. We have a cohort coming out to make sure that you are getting all of your clinical knowledge and things like that. And we also provide mentorship at BABA from other Black BCBAs, mentoring and providing those sponsorship and those opportunities. So first, as a field, we need to do some reflective practice, and we need to look withinwards and say, listen, we're giving mentorship and sponsorship to both white men and women in order to get these leadership opportunities, but we are not giving mentorship and sponsorship and the education to the BIPOC individuals. And so if we first want to change the way leadership looks like in this field, we first need to equip those individuals with the proper education and the knowledge in order to even be in these positions, right? We don't want to put someone in a position just because of their color. We want to put them in that position because they have had the education and the knowledge and the qualifications on top of they are a person of color, right? We are seeking people of color, but we're not able to find them because they don't have the right qualifications. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
As a field, we need to equip that, and we need to be mindful. I always say it needs to be right on our frontal that how are we offering this opportunities to those who have not had the opportunity or the equitability to have that opportunity in order to get into those different positions. We were talking before on this call that I had just applied to my doctoral program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Good luck.
We'll wait to see if we get it. But even through that process in getting your doctorate degree and being in a leadership role within this field it goes hand in hand. We care about credentials, and we care that somebody has a doctorate in order to meet some of these leadership roles. Well, okay, I need to apply for doctoral programs if I want to be in a leadership role, and that's great. But the equitability within that was rough. And it's not just the financial equitability, to apply to doctoral programs, you need a writing sample. Well, I'm a little bit younger in my field. I have not had the mentorship or the sponsorship to submit to different journal articles or to write blogs or anything like that. So that was a barrier for me. As president of a larger organization, an international organization, I didn't have any writing samples. And so we were going back and forth trying to figure out what I could submit for a writing sample. And so the little things that people don't realize as skills in order to be leaders is definitely also needed when you're looking at diversifying our leadership within the behavior analysis community.
All right, let me ask you something else. Let's look at it from the employer's perspective, even in a school district or what. And there are a lot of well-intentioned people that want to make things the way they should be. And there's an emphasis on making sure that the numbers are correct. For example, when you're hiring somebody, and I'll give you a personal example, there was always pressure to make sure that there was minority representation on the committee for hiring. And so in my case, I kept going to the same few people because there's only a few black behavior analysts that were on the team that I had, and that felt kind of awkward. And we know it's not about numbers. I was just wondering if you wanted to comment, what should people who are in that position who really want to do the right thing, but I can't find applicants.
Right.
What do you do?
Right. So you get the numbers out of your brain. I always say, I bring it back to this analogy. In America, we love football, right? We love football. So go football here with me for a second.
I'll go football. I used to play a long time ago.
Great. So you win a game. You win the game 21-7, right? And you're celebrating at the end and you're like, oh, we just won this game 21-7, right? But the coach still reams the entire team. And it's like, you played like crap. You might have won this game, but you did this wrong, because we didn't have a winning philosophy. And so take that analogy and get the numbers game out of your head when you're looking to diversify your staff or as an employer. If you have the right programs, the right philosophy, the right mission that breeds and is overtly out there that you are attempting to be more inclusive and more equitable and more diverse outside of the numbers game, the people will come to you no matter where you are. We talked about doctoral programs in Nebraska, right?
Right.
But if I had found a doctoral program that had a DEI focus, that was in Nebraska, that was so inclusive, that had done a lot of research, that had really, this was important to them, and I could see that just looking at their website and seeing all the things that they've done, I'm going to apply. You know, when people are like, oh, we're not getting the applicants, well, there's a reason why you're not getting those applicants. And it's not about where you are or anything like that. It's the experiences that you have set up in your organization and your company prior to even thinking about the numbers. Because if you think about it as a number game, but you don't have the right systems or programs, or the people that you work with don't have the right philosophy or the right mindset, that's going to be not a safe space for any minority, anybody involved in a marginalized group. So you want to look at numbers, yes, but you also want to look at, is this going to be, do we promote diversity, equity, and inclusion outside of our numbers on a large scale, not just on a statement? Or
So a lot of antecedent control is what we need.
Yeah.
We need a lot of changing in the ecology to make it a reinforcing place to, take a chance. So that was a great answer. And I have been on a team where I've heard that exact speech by the coach. So I really like that example. So, all right. So, we're almost at the end of our time, but I'm just curious, what's next for Baba? Like, what are the immediate plans, and what's going to happen?
Yeah, so in April, of course, in March, every month we have CEUs. So if anybody wants to get involved with BABA, coming to our CEUs or becoming members is a great first step. In April, we're going to be announcing a scholarship. We have both international and domestic US-based scholarships for members as well. So if you are a student that is looking to get financial assistance with tuition, taking the exam, anything and everything, definitely look into those scholarships that'll be coming out. And our big event that we have coming up in June is we have our BABA conference. And anyone and everyone is invited to this conference, no matter what. We did just announce all of our conference speakers that will be there, and our keynote speakers. So registration is open. It'll be a virtual event. It'll be Juneteenth of this year and that weekend. So our BABA conference will probably always be around Juneteenth, just for that significance. So I encourage people to check out the conference, come to the conference, check out our website to see if that's something that you would want to learn about, and we'll see you there.
Well, this has been great, Adrienne, and it's clear you're becoming a leader in the field as each day goes by, which is great. And I think you and Baba are doing a fantastic thing. Adrienne and I have spoken a little bit. BALC and Baba are looking into collaborating on some things in the future, so everybody should stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
With that, I will just say thank you if you've joined us live or if you've joined us in the recording. And Adrienne, if you would just hang on, I'm going to share my screen a little bit and go to our close and just tell everybody thank you for attending. And it's still a little bit scary out there, so stay safe, be well, but things are changing. Hopefully we're really rounding the corner this time.
Yes, thank you.